So we've started with a £1,000 budget and we're going to trade our way all the way up to a Sierra RS Cosworth. We've bought this Aygo for £300.
So, problems with the Aygo that we've noticed already. As you can see, front bumper does need a respray. It's not in the best of conditions. This is it's like a dust protector for your headlight because it's missing a bulb, so it definitely needs one of them for its MOT. We've got some more lacquer peel. It's not exactly the best, and we look into the interior, you can see where I've had the jump leads and one of my wires from where it got delivered. It does need a good clean. It's a little bit mouldy. It's very dirty. It's got a rip in the seat, but I'm sure we can live with that one. It could do with a good polish, but besides that, it seems to be mechanically sound, and that's the main thing. Nice easy flip on the way to the Sierra. Just remember, cameraman never dies. Right, so just been to the local motor factors, picked up a few bits. We've got a headlight bulb. There we go. So hopefully one step closer towards its MOT. Oil filter. What else have we got? Air filter, and then the cabin filter as well. They can all be fitted, and with the magic of editing, you'll be seeing them in a few moments.
So as you've seen, Jack has done the haul and we've spent £142.15 on everything that we need to service it. So I'm going to go ahead, change the bulb now because it's the easy job. I'm new to it. Jack's pretty decent at it. And then clip the rubber round to make sure it's in and secure, and that should be done. Well, we'll have to turn it on to check. Is it on?
Light switch is on the left, mate.
Yeah. Light switch is on the left. No? No. Fuck's sake. Get that matching. Get that sat in. Just like that. And then, I don't know if you can see, but the spring, I'm going to push that in to make sure the bulb's secure. I'm going to push it back to the left, and that's your bulb in. Exactly how it should be, sat in there like that. So the black needs to be at the top there. It's just getting it in, you know, with the rubber. Make sure that the rubber seal is on, and then we should be good to go. Let's turn it on and give it a try. So there we are, one job done and dusted, and now we'll get on to the service where we need the main man Jack to show us how it's done. So I'll probably be holding a bit of the camera this time because, like I said before, I am new to all this. I've done a few here and there, and I've watched Jack here and there fix other people's cars, but yeah, this is a new. But one question is, oh, it's fell off. Might need a new cap for that then, if that's the case. Yeah. Right, let's go.
Who's turned the sun on? So we're going to crack on with the service. Most important part of the service, to make it nice and quick. Take your oil cap off and then just slightly pull the dipstick. Otherwise, what you're doing is when you're letting the oil flow downwards without creating a passageway for air at the top, it's creating almost like a vacuum and it takes forever to come out. Whereas when you open up the cap and pull the dipstick, it lets it flow a lot more freely. So what we're going to do is we're going to jack up the car. Now, we're going to do it slightly differently as to what you should probably be doing, but when we're limited by space, we're going to be jacking it up just off of the jacking area, just so we've got the jacking area to put the jack stand down on. Because if I'm going to be getting underneath it, I have a young family, I quite fancy my life. Thankfully, I love my quick jack from Halfords, my low profile jack. Makes it nice and easy to do services in such a small space. I am incredibly unfit, out of breath already. There you go. Don't need to be too high off the ground, that'll probably do. Plus, when we're underneath it, it'll give us a nice chance to double check that everything's solid underneath, there's no rust otherwise it might be game over at the first hurdle. So as I've just mentioned, we can put the jack stand under the sill around the jacking area, just because that's the strongest part of the pinch weld. So then when it sits down, if we can let it down slowly. Come on, Jack. Hey, that's my name. There we go. It sits nice and safe. It's not going to fall. Most importantly, it's not going to crush my head when I'm servicing your car. And exactly the same on the other side, but I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs, so you don't need to see that twice. Right, so with that jacked up, we're just going to carry on with the service. So I've got a makeshift oil tray to catch all of the waste oil in. So that'll go underneath with me, and we'll go underneath in a second. I'll show you how to take the sump plug off, the oil filter off, and actually crack on into the service. Once you've got the sump plug most of the way out, you should be able to give it one more twist, it might be, and then pull, and then all of your oil is going to come out. Not a lot of oil because it's only a little 1 litre, but there's just a little bit of residue around this sump plug. I'm looking at it, it doesn't look like anybody's used the crush washer when they've last serviced it, which is not good practice. We are going to replace the sump seal. Let that drain. Once that's drained, we're going to change the oil filter, and once that's been changed, we'll meet you back up at the top for air filter and a cabin filter. Alright, so come to loosen up the oil filter. I have unfortunately left my oil filter clamp removal tool thing at work, so what we're going to do is we're going to force it off. So there we go. So what we've done is we've punctured a hole in it, and what that's going to allow us to do, when I can get the screwdriver through a bit more, is we're going to be able to use that as leverage to spin it off. So now I can take my oily screwdriver back, I can clean that in a bit when you've all gone home, and now the filter should, hopefully without splashing because Daniel will shout at me, spin off.
And it did.
And it did.
All over me. Thanks, Jack.
Sorry, love. So it's a new crush washer that goes on your sump plug. So that means that when you put your plug and your bolt, whatever you want to call it, into your sump, that crushes and it creates a nice seal. That means that no oil, hopefully, is going to spill out onto my floor.
Even more than it has.
Even more than it already has.
That's camera action.
So we're going to do the world's most awkward unboxing, because I am one click under an Aygo on my jack stands. But yeah, so this is your oil filter. This is going to have all of the oil in the engine passing through it. Not all at once, obviously, it can only hold so much. But the paper filter inside of it, it's just going to filter out. Go away. It's going to filter out any contaminants inside of the engine oil. Make sure that nothing gets stuck where it shouldn't do and cause any issues. Now, what you'll see on the edge of there is a rubber ring, a rubber seal. What we're going to do is, because I've made a bit of a mess, get some old oil. You can use new oil, old oil, it doesn't matter for a seal. And we're just going to spin it around the seal until it's nice and moist, damp. And then just up here onto the oil filter housing, we're going to tighten that up, and we're not going to do what the previous owner did, and we're just going to do it hand tight. Doesn't need to be mega tight, don't need to use any tools to put them back on. As long as it's threaded on hand tight, you should be absolutely fine. That's it for the service part underneath. We've drained the oil, we've changed the filter. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up to the top, we're going to fill up the oil, make sure that there's nothing leaking straight out the bottom. As long as there's no leaks, we're going to change the air filter, and then we're going to go inside and we're going to change the cabin filter. So under there you can see capacities. We've got 3.6 litres on a dry fill, 3.1 litres on a service fill, which is what we're going to be doing, and the filter takes 100 millilitres. Let's get that done.
So what we're going to do is fill it all the way just below the 2 mark. Let's see if my pouring game, I'm going to fill it into here. It's not too bad. Still got a little bit left to go.
can tell your service cars for a living, mate.
Right, so we've got it just under the 2 mark there, because we spoke a bit on Jack's floor, which he is mad about. But Jack did just show me a good tip for someone that's first time doing it. He has just stabbed it with a flathead screwdriver, and that made it then come out a lot quicker. So yeah, that's that done.
The same as what we were doing with the engine when we took the oil cap off.
Yeah, so there we are. You learn something new every day. Cheers, Jack. So now we're going to change the air filter. So we'll just unclip these like so. Is there any more? No. And then clip it off like so.
I know. It looks like previous owner didn't even have an air filter.
That's great.
So good job we're putting one in.
Absolutely. So
says air filter on the top. Yeah.
on the back. On the back. Unboxing.
You look around it.
Right. So I presume it goes in this way, like so. Make sure it's in place. We'll put it on and then we'll get it clipped in. I need to make sure it's definitely on. And we'll clip that back in. Like so, and that is how you change an air filter, and that was my first time that I've ever changed an air filter.
So air filter's been done, oil's now in, oil filter and a new sun plug seal has been put in, so hopefully no leaks. We're going to turn the car on just to double check. Whilst the car's running, going to look underneath, make sure there's no leaks. As long as there's no leaks, it can come off the jack stands and we can double check that oil level at the end. So let's hope she runs. Battery's a little bit weak, but we can always look at replacing it or putting it on a health charge thing, cycle, whatever they want to call it. So we're going to go underneath, we're going to double check that everything's bone dry, no leaks from the oil filter housing or from the sump plug, because they're the things I've touched. If there is, then we'll blame Daniel. So double check the oil filter, and it's bad news for Daniel because he can't pour oil into an engine. He's
The first time, leave me alone.
Stop it giving excuses. So he's poured the oil in and it's just dripped straight down the back of here. You can see where it's still a little bit wet there. And I don't know if you can see it properly, but directly down there where I'm pointing is the top of the oil filter housing. So he's made a bit of a mess, but it's okay. We forgive him, we never forget. But the car's fine, so we're going to flick it off for now, just so we don't get gassed out inside of the garage. We take it off the jack stands, we're going to double check the oil level, make sure everything's okay. So what we're going to do is, now that it's off the jacks and the jack stands, we're going to check the oil level. We were going to replace the cabin filter, but I have been missold. This car does not have a cabin filter, just like my MX-5. Seems to be only the aircon models that come with one. So what we're going to do is we've taken the dipstick out, we'll give it a quick wipe, and then what I like to do is I like to count to 5 in my head. Like Daniel said though, he can't count to 5. I'm going to pull it out just to double check, and as you can see there, the residue's just up to the maximum, so that's the perfect amount of oil that we need. So that is the service. Once I can put the dipstick back in, there we go, that is the service, all complete and all ready for the new owner.
Right, so I am going to take off the bumper now, just so it's all ready for me to come in tomorrow and sand it down and respray it. So I'll show you how to take the bumper off.
This side seems to be on a popper, which is a bit strange. So the other side had a screw. This one has just a little plastic clip which is holding the edge of the bumper onto the support bracket. So now that that's off, and the other side we took off a few minutes earlier, we should, so long as there's no more major issues, and Dan's been able to get all of the bolts. Did you get all of the bolts, Dan?
Yeah, I've got all the bolts.
We should be able to take off the top half of the bumper. So all we need to do now is go underneath, take off the bottom of the bumper from the under tray, or what's remaining of the under tray, and we'll be able to take the bumper fully off.
There you go, so there's just a few crusty dusty 10mm bolts holding the bumper on. So we're just going to undo as many as we can see, hopefully without snapping any of them. And once that's off, we'll be able to carry on with painting the bumper. Probably tomorrow at this point. I'm knackered, I need my food, I need my bed. Oh dear. So we've got one bolt left that's been a bit of a pain in the backside, if you will. So what's happening is it's just spinning the whole thing, but now that we've got a bit of an angle on the bumper, it seems to be coming out quite nicely. I say quite nicely, it's coming out. And then in a second Dan's going to feel all the way onto his legs, round about now,
Because that's now bumper off the Aygo.
Yeah.
And that's now bumper off the Aygo, ready for Dan to dismantle and paint tomorrow.
Right, so I've just been to Alfred's, got some lacquer, 2 bottles of that, 2 bottles of gloss spray paint, and some sandpaper, but Jack already had sandpaper, so we didn't need to pay for that. So we saved a little bit on that. It did cost me £41.76. So I'll add how much we've spent in total here up to now, and then I'll add how much we've got left. Jack is going to valet the seats tonight, and then we're going to send it for an MOT hopefully tomorrow, and fingers crossed it does pass. So yeah, I'm going to get on with sanding the bumper now. So after taking the reg plate off, I'm going to start sanding, and I'm going to cover up the grills instead of taking them off. Makes my job a lot easier. With the last bit being sanded down, I'm going to now, it's all smooth, nice, I'll give you a little POV of it, a little close up. Now I'm going to prep it to start painting, so let's get into it.
So that is been sanded right down, and now it's smooth.
Been shut, and then whilst I'm waiting for the paint to dry on the bumper, I'm going to sand down the wing mirrors on both sides, left and right, so you can get them resprayed as well. Let's go. One done, and then what we'll do is wipe it all off, masking tape round there as well, and then give it a spray. On to the next. So we'll just give it a nice rub down. There we are, nice and smooth, ready for masking tape, and then we'll give this a spray. But in the meantime, the bumper is dried for its first coat, so I'm going to go ahead and put the second coat on. I've sanded the other wing mirror as well, but like Jack said, I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs. So yeah, I'll show you the full process with this. Now it is time for the second coat, but I have learnt my lesson this time. On the top half I realised that I sprayed it way too close, so I'm just going to take a little bit of a step back with it. Right, with the second coat being done, I'm going to now tape around the wing mirror. So for the spray time, But not bad job there. First ever time doing a wind mirror, so I've never done any of this before. So if I'm doing anything wrong, or you can give me some tips, drop me some tips. But that one's done. And I'm gonna go tape up the other one before getting onto the bumper. So right, we are back with the third coat. Luckily it's a decent day today, so it's quite warm. I'll give it one more coat. Third coat's done on the bumper. We're going to do the second coat on the wind mirror now. That is the second coat done on the wind mirror. I'm going to go round, do the other side, and then wait for it to dry, do the third coat, and then we'll put the lacquer on. So yeah, it's time to put the lacquer on. So, and that is the bumper done. We just wait for it to dry now, and then we'll unpeel it and see how it looks. So I'm gonna do the third and final coat now on the wind mirrors while I'm waiting for the lacquer to dry on the bumper, and then I'll lacquer both the wind mirrors when the paint's dry on. So it's had 3 coats, and now I'm going to put the lacquer on it to bruise it up and make it look a little bit shinier and try and match the car the best that we can. Obviously we know that we can't match it exactly how it is because, well, this paint's had 20 years to oxidise, whereas this hasn't, so it's always going to be a little bit of a different colour. But yeah, so let's get into it. Now for the satisfying part. And that is the bumper done and dusted. The primer is now done on the wind mirrors as well, so I'm going to take the tape off and get the bumper back on. So yeah. Time to put the bumper back on.
So back again with the Aygo, and it's a bit of a mess, and like previously mentioned, it's a bit bloody inside. It's not exactly the nicest thing to be in. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray some mould killer on it first. Let that dwell just whilst we get the wet back out, and then we're going to be able to wet back the seats, the carpets if necessary, get rid of all that dirt grime, and especially the mould, so I'm not breathing in the bad stuff.
We'll give it a tour.
Wiping some of the mould off. We sprayed the mould killer on before, so it's had more than enough time to sort itself out.
So we've wet vac everything up to now. The back seats are done, wet vac. Just wait for them to dry. Seat belts have been cleaned, and then obviously all that will be getting done when we wash the outside of the car. But so we've filled up windscreen washer fluid. Let's go.
Right, so very quickly going to do a brief Pre-MOT just to make sure that all of the lights are working and stuff. So I've got my glamorous assistant at the front to tell me if both of the side lights are on, to tell me if both of the dip beams are on, and to tell me if both of the high beams work as well. Absolutely perfect. So I'm going to use my glamorous assistant to tell me if the hazards are working on both sides as well, and on both sides of the car, because by law you're supposed to have them on the back, on the side, sorry. And what I'll do is, if I can squeeze through, I will. I'm too fat for this. Double check from the back. We've got side lights, we've got hazards, we've got a fog light, and if my glamorous assistant can please press the brake pedal. and put it in reverse. Oh, you'll need the key for reverse. I don't know where the key is.
Yeah, I've got the key.
All right. Quick
You
switch.
can go through that again.
Yeah. So coming around to the back, going to ask my glamorous assistant to please press the brakes. Great start. Oh, for fuck's sake.